What's up, users? It's the Russian dude. Let's immediately talk about why each and every single American owes a theoretical $267,000 to the US government. And obviously, the reason for this situation is because of an enormous US national debt, which already in 2012 crossed its GDP. And the situation since then, for the last 12 plus years, only became worse with every single day passing. At the moment of recording this video, the national US debt equals $34.6 trillion, and it is $6.2 trillion more than the entire GDP of America. And only in the last 4 years alone, the debt increased by $11 trillion, which is the approximate 47% increase. These, guys, are unbelievably massive numbers. The most obvious reason why this happened it is because of the result of the pandemic, whenever the Federal Reserve started printing free money, which at first was understandable. They were trying to support the economy, which almost shut down completely. But then whenever the economy started to reopen, to recover, people just like the Federal Reserve, they were like, well, you know guys, it's pretty actually cool to have this much free money. The stocks are going up, we are all getting 100% gains, our salaries are good, let's just keep printing, why not? And later on we will figure out how to deal with the consequences, with the inflation. We can always increase the interest rates, right? This is what they thought 4 years ago. And if you divide this debt by the population of America, this comes to approximate number of $267,000 per American citizen, which basically means if America is to pay its debt, this is how much every single person needs to contribute. Just to put things in perspective, just how much $34 trillion are. It is also estimated that only in 8 years the total debt can double. Specifically, the numbers we are talking about in 2017, it was approximately $20 trillion, and now according to the rough estimations, only next year, 2025, the debt might and most likely will reach $40 trillion. And the situation is even worse because of the previously mentioned high interest rates, because right now the Federal Reserve needs to fight inflation somehow, which as you can see is not working. And high interest rates mean exactly high interest payments for the US debt, which at this point already equal approximately $1.6 trillion per year. And partially the reason why the American government thinks they can simply continue this ramp up, extremely fast one, of their own debt like there is no tomorrow, it is because they still do believe that there is a monopoly of the US dollar in the world, which is partially true. A lot of international transactions are still done in the US dollar, at least in the western part of the world, but this situation cannot go on forever. Just take a look what happened with the British pound. It was also considered to be unmovable world currency. Nobody thought that the dominance of the British pound can ever be questioned. And yet it did happen. And even though the collapse of the dollar dominance in the world I do not personally see in the near future, but eventually it will happen sooner or later, just this is like 100%. We do see some graphs like this, which shows that the sentiment of the market right now is switching towards negative territory in terms of relationship to the US dollar. Right now there are more netto shorts against this particular currency. So the question is, will we see an apocalyptic event within the US economy, at least within our lifetimes? I would give it a pretty high chance. Not now, not in the next couple of years, but guys, there is a chance. And now let me give you just a couple quick other words from the US economy and specifically the stock market, and then I'm gonna talk about the US Congress wanting to literally disband and abolish the Federal Reserve, and why would they want to do it. So yeah, first of all, on your screen you can see the upcoming earnings report, which will happen this week. So if you want to pause the video to see if your companies are reporting, feel free to do it. Next I have a graph which shows how many different companies' representatives mention the artificial intelligence technology during their earnings calls. And as you can see, more and more companies, they start to consider either employing or developing their own AI departments. And as a legend goes, whenever you see that there is an upcoming gold mania, don't try and join this mania and try to find the best gold mine. Instead, focus on selling the shovels, pickaxes, carts, the supplies for gold mining, because here you will definitely have a lot of profit. Which basically means if we try and apply this to the artificial intelligence scenario, go ahead and find a very good company which specializes in AI software and technology. The next graph shows that there is an increase in the liquidity on the US market, which historically, not in 100% cases, but in most of them, was correlated with a little bit growth on the stock market itself. And just overall, right here is the Fear and Greed Index. We can see that there is a neutrality on the stock market, 53 out of 100, and the crypto market is more or less greed, 75 out of 100. And now, as promised, let's briefly talk about the US Congress wanting to literally abolish and ban the Federal Reserve. Originally, this idea came to us from the Republican representative Thomas Macy, who pretty much introduced the very same law, saying that we guys should disband them. They simply have no idea what they're doing. They are making the situation only worse. The Federal Reserve was created more than 110 years ago, and its main responsibility was just keeping the economy in balance. Whenever, just the simplest way to understand how the Federal Reserve works is the following. This is just one of their many responsibilities. Whenever there is a high inflation, they simply try to increase the interest rates to shut down the economy a little bit to bring the inflation down. Because of this, the economy starts working slowly, the economy is not being as efficient, but yes, the inflation goes down. In this case, they need to once again reaccelerate the economy, make it live again, introduce some easy money printing, things like this, which restarts the economy, reignites the machine. In return, once again, we have the inflation going up once again. So basically, inflation is up, interest rates go up, and then it brings down the inflation, and then the interest rates go down as well. And then in return, once again, inflation goes up, and then you see the idea. This is the very basic understanding how the Federal Reserve works. And so right now we already see the situation is completely out of their hands. Specifically, Thomas Macy saying that they have absolutely no idea what's going on right now. They completely failed their own responsibilities. Literally, he kinda said, guys, you only had one job to do. Which is not the easiest one, but still one job to do. And you don't need to be a genius to see the situation in the US economy right now, where we do have high inflation and the interest rates are high, but inflation, instead of going down, it is either not budging at all or even goes in some particular industries of the economy once again higher. And this guy is basically saying exactly the same facts, which, guys, I was mentioning to you in my previous videos and even today's video. The reason for this high inflation and the situation was barely under control, it is because of money printing during the pandemic. Whenever the Federal Reserve did not want to stop the money printer on time, they simply enjoyed the process and thought that, well, somebody else is gonna take care of us in the future. Well, the future is now. And at least at the moment of recording this video, at least 20 different representatives of the US Congress, they supported the idea to abolish the Federal Reserve. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you like this style of daily news updates, and see you tomorrow.